supposed to move in tomorrow. Our house is not ready. And you're asking for more money?
Congratulations, you've been approved for this mortgage loan. Except, it's not enough to afford anything. Woohoo!
People all across the country are getting absolutely ruined by bad mortgage decisions. Lenders, buyers, and even homeowners who thought they were doing everything right. And if you're not careful, you could be next. How fast can home ownership humble you? Let's find out.
Another really cool thing about buying a house is you buy it and then you move in and immediately it starts breaking. Everything in the house starts to break. But the really fun thing is you've already spent all your money on buying the house because houses are like really expensive. So you have no money to fix that breaks. So you're just in a house with a bunch of broken so if I could start making money on TikTok any day now, that would be great.
This is sometimes a classic first-time homebuyer experience, especially when there's no inspection before buying the property or simply a bad inspector. It might feel like everything breaks the minute you move in. This is why you can't go broke at the closing table. The house doesn't care that your bank account is empty. I suggest having at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, including the estimated mortgage payment before you buy a house. Homeownership isn't just the mortgage. You need a repair fund the same way you need a down payment and closing costs. A common guideline is to have 1% of the home's value saved for repairs. This is how people can avoid crashing out in month 1 of homeownership. Do you think she's overreacting? Let me know what you think. Let's look at what happens when the cost of living pushes someone to their breaking point.
Crash out with me for a minute.
Nothing is that bad. Like, I am crying because I am so tired of going to work. And like, that's it. I just don't want to go to work anymore. And I have a good job. And I make a good amount of money. But it's like it doesn't even matter because life is so expensive that it doesn't even matter if you have a good job and you go to work. Like, I just want to be one of the hobos that live under the bridge because at least they just get to have free time and enjoy the sun because I can't, because I have to go to work to pay my mortgage and my car payment, and it's not fair just because I have student loans and stuff. I just want to go live under a bridge. I don't want to do this.
This is the emotional side of housing affordability that nobody talks about. Sometimes it can feel like the pressure is real. Making good money doesn't mean you're financially comfortable anymore, depending on your other expenses. So when your mortgage, your car payment, and cost of living eat everything, you can get burned out really fast. A lot of people feel like they're doing everything right and still drowning. This is why you can't overbuy. There's no reason to have a mortgage that's causing you stress as you go to work every day. That's no way to live. That's why it's important to buy what you can easily afford. And to make that easier, I created a free home affordability calculator. It gives you an estimate of what price range fits your budget. And there's a short video to walk you through how to use it. If you're interested, the link is in the pinned comment of the video. This may not be her situation, but do you think it's hard to want to continue to go back to work when you can barely afford your mortgage and other expenses? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. The next clip should be required viewing for anyone planning a renovation. Let's take a look.
We are supposed to move in tomorrow. Our house is not ready. And you're asking for more money? We're supposed to move in tomorrow. My house is not ready, y'all. My contractor just sent us a text informing us he's going to send us an invoice of additional cost. One that just has me baffled, mind blown, is the fact that he redid several walls in our home. And in order to do the walls, he had to remove the baseboard and trim. Mind you, the ones he removed had mold. So we had to replace them. My husband and I spent over $400 on baseboards and trim. But this man is trying to charge us for something he had to remove anyway and would have had to replace anyway. No!
Contractors pulling surprise charges at the last minute happens way more than people realize. Trust me, unfortunately, I've experienced it. You always want to put a scope of work in writing before any major project starts. If something has to be removed anyway to complete a job, in my opinion, you should not be double charged for that. However, that's why managing renovation requires strict oversight, or you may get hit with some nonsense invoices like she did. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a serious situation, but her delivery just made me laugh. But am I the only one that was chuckling a little bit at this? Let me know. When reality hits, it's not always pretty.
But what I am currently doing is shopping for a house. I'm 30 years old and I live in my parents' home. Oh my God, why is that? That's because I graduated college with a filmmaking degree in 2017. And then I was a freelance film festival person. And then a pandemic hit. So I didn't have exactly savings. And ever since then, I finally got a full-time job for the first time in my life a couple of years ago. So now I'm just like, I'm trying to get a house. Because do you know how expensive rent around here is? It's a mortgage. It's a mortgage payment. So at this point, I'm like, I would resent paying a mortgage payment in rent. So I'm looking for a house. But the problem is that like my budget, it's a respectable budget. It's like I'm looking for 1-bedroom homes. These are homes that should come in around like $100,000. That is like the type of home I'm looking for. A tiny little 1-bedroom, 1-bath, big enough for me and my bookshelves. That's all I need in a house. No, can't have that. No, can't have that. Because the houses that I'm looking at that should reasonably be around $100,000 homes are easily $200,000 homes to start. That's the starting rate. If they're $200,000 and they need about 30 grand worth of work. Oh, and there's nowhere to park and there's nowhere to do your laundry. Sorry, there's no laundry hookups. There's nowhere to park. The walls are basically not even there. You have to replace them. The ceiling, good luck.
She's in the same boat as many first-time home buyers priced out of what they would consider starter homes. Small condos that used to be $100,000 are now going for $200,000, and they need tens of thousands of dollars of work. One thing to note is that in most major metro areas, it's cheaper to rent than to buy. And unfortunately, in some cases, the inventory that's available isn't that great. The reality is home prices are what they are because people are buying them at inflated prices. You simply have to get in where you fit in. And sometimes that means moving somewhere else if it's possible. The next situation is one that many first-time home buyers run into. But first, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to get better at real estate investing, you got to follow this channel.
Congratulations! You've been approved for this mortgage loan. Except, it's not enough to afford anything! Woohoo! Isn't that great? That's the best news of my life I've gotten. Wow, this is fantastic. Why does it feel like you're getting farther, right? You're doing good for yourself. And then something comes up and it's just like, nah, not good enough. Not good enough. Oh my gosh, I know I'm not the only one in this boat.
Getting pre-approved feels like a win until you realize the amount you get approved for doesn't buy anything. This is the disconnect between what lenders approve and what the market actually costs. A lot of buyers feel like they're doing everything right, but still falling behind. This is the moment people realize homeownership isn't just about income. The market conditions matter as well. Do you think people underestimate exactly what it takes to buy a home these days? Let me know what you think. Now, here's where things take a turn because not everyone who wants to buy is actually ready for it.
Like, I just think this generation just feels so entitled to things that they literally have a crash out when they don't get what they want. Like, this is a real conversation I had with a client today. She came to me wanting to buy this $600,000 home and finance the whole thing because she's a veteran, so she can put 0% down on this house. So she wants us to give her $600,000. Well, I pull her credit. She has a 520 credit score, 13 collections, which means there's 13 different accounts that she just never paid back. 2 of those being car repossessions in the past 2 years. I'm just confused how, if you're not going to pay credit cards, Victoria's Secret cards, you name it, car loans, what makes you think that you're going to be able to just go get a mortgage and like not have an issue with getting a mortgage? Why am I going to give you $500,000 if you can't pay a $2,000 credit card.
Some buyers truly aren't ready. The numbers don't lie. A 520 credit score, 13 collections, 2 repos in 2 years is a big risk for a lender. VA loans are powerful, but they're not some magic pill. You still have to show that you can handle it. Do you want to know what entitlement plus no financial foundation equals? An instant crash out. Sometimes a homeowner learns very quickly that they made a huge mistake. Let's find out why.
My buyer closed on their brand new home and missed the first 3 mortgage payments. Let's talk about it. Hey y'all, hey, my name is Joy Bailey. I am a licensed mortgage loan officer in Charlotte, North Carolina, licensed to do loans in a bunch of different states. And on here, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of home loans. And baby, this thing was ugly. It was disgusting. I almost wanted to vomit. So the buyer reaches out to me because they were denied for a loan with another lender. I say, I think I can do it. The debt to income ratio was too high. We did some math and we figured out that property wasn't going to work out, but another property would. The buyer goes under contract. The buyer was going to get some down payment assistance. The buyer was getting money from the seller to cover the closing costs and buy the interest rate down. So they didn't need any money for the transaction. Well, not quite that. In order to close on the transaction, the interest rate had to be a very specific rate because the debt to income that we were approving was a 56.4. So the realtor says, hey, I'm going to volunteer some money. She volunteered $5,000 to help the borrower get to the closing table. Closing day comes, borrower closes, literally gets the money back from the earnest money that was put into the transaction.
This is one of the wildest real estate stories you'll hear. The buyer needed down payment help, seller credits, and even the realtor pitching in money to make the loan work. A 56% debt to income ratio, in my opinion, is very extreme. That loan seems like it was hanging on by a thread. And sometimes deals get pushed through that maybe shouldn't. Whenever a deal requires this much help, it's usually a sign that the home is not affordable. As wild as that was, it actually gets worse.
I go on about my life like a normal person would. I get a phone call last week. Hey, your borrower closed in July. The first payment was due September the 1st. No payment was made September 1st. No payment was made October 1st. No payment has been made November 1st. Child, it was November the 14th. And I thought I was going to throw up. I did. I thought I was literally going to regurgitate everything that was on the inside of me. Because the reason why I get on this platform and I talk about why it's important for you to have money to be able to get a loan is because what has happened prevents the loan from being sold, and it's called a buyback. And a buyback puts the loan officer in a position to have to repay their commission. Let's pretend $5,200.
Closing on the home was just the beginning. They didn't make 3 payments in a row. This is why you need reserves. If you can barely close, you're not financially ready to buy this house. I always say this, and I'm going to continue to say it because I hope that it helps someone avoid a nightmare like this. A home isn't affordable if you can't survive the first 90 days. And much respect to her for being so honest about this story and what happened. So whose fault do you think this is? Let me know. This final clip explains exactly why so many people feel hopeless about buying a home today.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I feel like I'm having a crash out about the housing market. Does anybody else just basically think like, what is going to happen to everyone under the age of 40 for like the next 20 years? And what I mean by that is that I do not understand how anyone in their right mind who is about to graduate college is going to actually afford anything. When I graduated college 13 years ago, I bought a house in foreclosure for $38,000. You can't even find that. And it wasn't even that bad. Was it livable? Yes, but I decided to gut it because times were different when I did that. And then I put several $1,000s in it to get it up to par. And then I sold it in 2020 during the COVID craze for $140,000. So I came down here to a new state, had to spend not quite twice as much, but quite a bit more for me to get double the house. And now I see on Zillow today that my old house that I bought originally for $38,000 and then sold for $140,000 is now on the market for $252,000. I am sorry, but it is not worth $252,000. I lived in it. Like, I redid it all the way down to the studs. And I do not understand how anybody who is 23 years old, who gets their first job right out of college, is going to put down roots in a $252,000 house that is literally just 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Tiny.
The starter home is disappearing in some cases, and prices have outpaced wages for a long time. So I can understand her shock at how much her old home is worth, but that's a situation we're seeing nationwide. And I don't believe that younger buyers are imagining this crisis. Entry-level homes simply do not exist at reasonable prices in some cities. What we saw today is exactly why so many people are struggling in this housing market. From surprise repairs to emotional burnout to renovation headaches to deals that were barely holding together. All the clips we saw today show how fast things can go wrong when you're not prepared. But here's the good news. Most of these situations are preventable with the right information and the right strategy. I don't believe buying a home should feel like you're one bad day away from a financial crisis. It should feel stable. It should feel predictable. And it should make your life better overall, not more stressful. That's why before you even think about buying, you need to know exactly what you can comfortably afford. And it's about more than what you qualify for. It's also not about what you hope you can stretch to, but a realistic number based on your real budget. And again, to make it easier, I created the free home affordability calculator. It gives you a potential price range based on your situation and your comfort zone, so you don't end up in any of the situations we saw today. If you're interested, the link to that is in the pinned comment. And if you're planning to buy or sell in the next 12 months, I can connect you with a realtor in your area, someone who actually listens, communicates, and knows their market well. Just fill out the quick form in the pinned comment and we can schedule some time to talk about what you're looking for. At the end of the day, the goal is simple. Don't overextend yourself, don't rush, and don't walk into the biggest purchase of your life unprepared. If you stay informed, stay realistic, and use the tools available to you, you can buy a home without regret. Now that you know about homebuyer crashouts, I want you to learn about how to avoid mortgage payments that you can't afford. Check out this video right here.